Yeah. Once again, good evening to everyone. And SQL Server. Before SQL Server, what is the use of SQL Server and what is the use of SQL? All these things. Yes, we are very interested in data science field, and we need to know how the files are getting stored. There are few ways. One is the local storage. What is the local storage? If the data or the files are stored in our computer or in our laptop, let's say laptop or the desktop, okay, we can see that, and there is no restrictions to access that file. Okay, already we have seen in Python, that is file handling concept. Okay, this is the one local storage, and second one is the cloud based storage or online storage. So those are databases. These are the databases. So we can store the data or the files which is more than in size. In size, I'm talking about the in size in data science. If the file size exceeds more than this local storage files, then we can take SQL, or else we can take database. For example, if the data is, let's say, it's my assumptions, okay, no need to follow the blindly. Okay? If the data storage is less than 10 MB, we can use some data files like .csv, .xlsx, okay, and if there are multiple ways, okay, .txt. These are local storage files, and if you want to store more than that, greater than 10 MB to, let's say, some 1 GB or more than that, it's my assumption only, then we need to store the data in databases. Okay, and if the data is more than 1 GB up to 1 TB, of course, I'm just generalizing thing here. Okay, 1 GB, then we can go for big data. So what are the examples for the big data and what are the examples for the databases? Now let me explain that. Databases, we have different databases, means in market there are different databases available. Of course, if it is structured data, the data is structured. What do you mean by structured? I have already explained you in previous classes. The data which is stored in the tabular form means rows and columns, which has equal, that is rows and columns, and we can store that data in databases. Of course, there is other database, that is NoSQL, that comes for the unstructured data. So we don't discuss more about that here. And here, databases, we have RDBMS. What do you mean by RDBMS? Relational Database Management System. We are going to discuss RDBMS here, and before that, let's discuss about the databases. Databases where we can store the data like this. For example, not exactly, the shape is not exactly. Let's assume this is a database called some college. For example, it's a database is college database. So what are the things, or what are the data, what are the multiple data we can store in college server? Simply, let's divide this. One is the faculty details. Okay. One is the student details. If there is transport details. Okay. And what else? Books or libraries, library details. and some programs like NCC. Okay, and what else we have? Some fests, technical fest, all the details we can store. And this can be stored in the tabular format. That is, these are the columns and these are the rows. Serial number, student name, roll number, and his percentage fail. In the student also, again we have his marks, his fees dues, his attendance percentage. All this can be stored. Okay, simple database. I'm talking about the relational database. In coming slides, we can go through deep. Now, databases, right? We are discussing about the database. If the data is more than 1 GB, that's called big data. Big data technologies. You might have heard that name. Big data means simply the data based upon the size. Okay, big data. And here we can see Hadoop. One of the example for the big data is the Hadoop. We can store more than 1 GB or more than 1 TB also. Okay, we can store that. And of course, we have cloud-based storage. Okay, that's not our discussion. But here, what I want to highlight is database. Okay, I just want to discuss more about the database. Now, if you want to process the data, you are a data scientist or you are a data analyst or business analyst, business intelligence developer or Power BI developer, you need to access the data. So all the data is not available in local files or local storage. Simply you can use Python library or Python function open, and you need to load that file and read and do some process, all those things, manipulations, whatever the things you need to do. All the files are not available. Some are in databases. So how can we access the data? How can we create? How can we delete? How can we update? All these things can be possible using SQL. Okay, all these things can be possible SQL. What do you mean by SQL? Simply, SQL is for stands for structured query or query. Structured. Let me create structured query language. Structured query language. Let me clear this. Structure. What do you mean by structured here? The data. Already have explained, you know, structured data. The data which is stored in the format of rows and columns. The data which is stored in the form of rows and columns, that is called tabular data. So we need to access this data, whatever the data stored in this database. This is called structured. Of course, there is unstructured data like images, videos, like that. For that, we use NoSQL. Remember that, NoSQL. So that's not part of our discussion. Now, query. Query means you're questioning, you are retrieving, you are accessing the data. QEARY. Okay, just remember that. Structured query language. Right. Now, I have already told in a CRUD. C R U D. What do you mean by that? C for create, R for retrieve, U for update, D for delete or drop. Okay, so you are going to perform these things. Main means, of course, we can do multiple things also. If you go further classes, we will know about them. Create, retrieve, update, delete. This is query. We can using some keywords, so all those things we can do the and oops, let me clear this. Where is that? Asha is saying that R for read. Of course, read is nothing but retrieve. Both are same. Okay, let me clear this up. This is right now. So where I stopped, I forgot. Yeah, structured, query, language, right? So what do you mean by structured? What do you mean by query? And now what do you mean by language? Of course, this is programming language. SQL is nothing but one programming language like Python, C. Okay. Now using this programming language, the name is SQL, and we are going to create, retrieve, or read, or update, delete, or drop the data which is stored in the database. We can read and we can write in the database using SQL. So SQL is programming language like Python, but here, so don't feel like headache because you don't see the headache what happens with Python. It's a simple language. SQL is the simple programming language. You need to know some 20 to 30 keywords only. That's it. But you need to apply the logics. If you practice more, you will get more. And this is about the SQL. By the way, what do you mean by SQL server? So SQL Server is the data management system or DBMS, which is offered by the Microsoft. This is from Microsoft. Of course, we have different databases like Oracle, PostgreSQL, and what else? MySQL. Okay, all these are the examples for different databases, different servers like that, DBMS. But remember, if you know SQL basic or SQL commands, if you know SQL commands, all are almost 95% same for this Microsoft, Oracle, PostgreSQL, MySQL. Almost 95% commands are same. So remaining 5% will be changed in some cases. That will be discussed at the end of this course, means at the last class. Okay, this is offered by the Microsoft. That's the reason some people say that MS SQL Server. MS SQL. MS means Microsoft. Now, let's get started. What do you mean by database? Let's go for theoretical. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start the code. And of course, there is no class on 18th. So I need to go outside. Okay, fine. Database. What do you mean by database? It is collection of data stored and organized. So data, collection of data. What do you mean by collection of data? Yeah, as I said, in this class, especially in SQL classes, I use most of the time only college example. In the college, faculty, this is data. Students, this is data. In students, we have fees, and of course, what else? Marks, whatever backlogs, all those. Faculty, salary, okay, and a department, like that. Okay. In the same way, these are the collection: salary, department, fees, marks, all these are the data, and all these are stored in one server, that is college server, that is college database. So it is stored and organized. The data is stored and organized in specific way. Okay, and allowing for search retrieval. So we can, this is the college website, okay, and we can search the required data in this, and we can access them also. Okay, and so of course for ECE students, they are very familiar with this. We can store the files in electronic format. That is not a discussion, and the data can be accessed, managed, updated. That's what I have discussed, CRUD. Okay, and this is what I'm going to discuss. In general, there are three types of databases. One is the local database. Of course, we have local database, MS Access, DBase, FastPro. All these are the local, means in our laptop or in our desktop. And remote database, which is stored in the cloud, all this. SQL Server, Oracle, PostgreSQL, MySQL, all this. And of course, third one is the online or the internet. That is OLAP, and that is not much important. You can remember these two, especially remote databases, that is stored in the cloud or in the online. So you hear that. What do you mean by database? Structured collection of data that is stored, organized in specific way that we can search, retrieve the data and information. By the way, now here we have seen what do you mean by database and what do you mean by information. Before that, let me clear this. What do you mean by data? What do you mean by information? Okay. Now, data is nothing but, we can say, raw data. Raw data, not raw data. Raw data we cannot understand. Simply if I type some RAJP, LPM, some raw data, this is not in structure format or not understandable. So what we are going to do is, this raw data is converted to information. I'll use this information. Yeah, we can understand the information. Raw data we cannot understand, but information can understand. If you know more about the information, okay, that comes under knowledge. If you know the logics or tricks to use the knowledge, that comes wisdom. Okay, this is not motivational class. Just I want to give the information. Raw data, information, knowledge, wisdom. Okay, we don't want to discuss about this all knowledge, all these things, but we need to discuss data information. That's what I have explained for information. If I am saying information, that it is understandable. Now, these are the three data types. That's what we have discussed. Database. Here, there is a confused topic, that is DBMS. What do you mean by DBMS? Database Management System. It's a software. DBMS means Database Management System. It is software manages and organizes data stored in database. This is the classic example I want to discuss. So just listen carefully so that you will understand. You are a student and okay, let me take some graphs. Yes, this is your college. Okay, now you are a student and you are a student and you want to purchase or you want to take the book. For example, if I want to machine learning, I want to learn machine learning. So what I'm going to do is I just want to bring that book from my library. So using college ID card and a library card, I'll take that. And there is a person. He simply sits and there is a book, login book. Whenever you enter into that library, in some college, you need to remove your shoe, your chappal, your sandals, whatever it is. And then you need to enter and you need to enter in the login book. This guy or this faculty, this sir or this madam is like DBMS. So books are the information. So let's take, this is business analytics blog in the library. This is for data science. This is for electronics. This is for some computers, and this all those blogs. Simply what you are going to do is simply you'll go to this library, sir, and I'll ask you, sir, I just want to take this machine learning book. What he is going to tell you is simply go to third rack and take from bottom, means in the third one, in the you can take from the last rack. There are available multiple books and multiple others. Just take them and give a sign. Simply you'll sit here at the starting of the library. So after you take that and you'll sign and you'll come to your classroom. After you're going, and there are some faculty who studies in the library. There are some students who sits on the librarian who studies them. At the college, anytime at the when we need to leave the college, and before leaving this library, the sir or the faculty, the library faculty, and searches everything, and if there is some books available on the tables, simply he takes those books and keep that books in that particular or that related subjects or the related racks. So he manages everything, login book and storing the books, organizing the books, okay, and managing everything, managing other faculty, all those things. So this is about how a library faculty manages library. The same classic example is applied for DBMS. Simply, there is data. We have different databases. Let's say this is one branch, another branch, another branch, another. These are the racks like this. We are going to storage. Now applications, other DBMS. Let's say users are the students. Other DBMS like faculty, applications, some other faculty, let's say other faculty. Now you need to go, you need to retrieve, you need to know the information about the books. That is DBMS. This is called let's library faculty, and he will explain everything. Sir, is this book available, or any updates about that book, any volumes, updated volumes available in that library? So every information is available in DBMS, that is library faculty. Simply go through him, and after going through him, you will access the all those things, right? I hope you understood, like library and database. Simply, let me clear this now. So let's go for theoretical, and it's a software manages and organizes data stored in the database. Let's say database is the library. Manage, organize, let's take this is library faculty. Okay, he is the only one manages, organize everything, and he allows create, read, update, delete. That is CRUD. Of course, read or retrieve. Okay, fine. In databases, and various tasks, other tasks such as controlling access, enforcing the data integrity, maintaining data consistency, all these things. Okay. Now, DBMS. What do you mean by DBMS? That is software. That's what we are going to discuss. Microsoft SQL Server. Now, through DBMS, we are going to access the data. How can we access the data through DBMS? How we need to communicate? For example, if you want to communicate with the library faculty, at least we need to Telugu or English. In worst case, Hindi. But if you want to communicate with the database, what is the thing? What is the communication tool? That is SQL, structured query language. We are going to asking the queries. Sir, is this book available? Sir, can I take for 3 days? And all these queries you are going to ask library faculty. In the same way, SQL is the programming language. Through SQL, some keywords, some codes, some commands, we are going to send to DBMS. Through DBMS, we are going to retrieve the data. Okay, you can see here. Define. Okay, let me take define, query, update, manage data, all these things. Okay, these are the top 3 DBMSs we are using nowadays. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. Just whenever there is term DBMS, just remember your college library. That's it. Your college library faculty. Fine. And SQL Server. This is, what is this? Simply it's a DBMS. And why for what we are going to use DBMS? Simply for the relational database or DBMS. In previous slides, we have seen different databases like hierarchical, all these things, and it is from Microsoft. And what are the services offered by the SQL Server? And these are the 5 majorly SQL Server offers. One is the database engine. What is the purpose of database engine? Through database engine, we can manage and access the data from the access the data from database. And analysis, data warehousing. This is comes under of course, whenever we discuss about data pre-processing, data merging, or data preparation for the data science project, then we will discuss about the data warehousing and reporting service, like reporting the summaries of the database, integration service. So convert from one DBS to another, means one relation database to another. And this is a compact edition, and this is for mobile application development. So what are the 5 services? One is the database engine. Second one is the analysis engine or the analysis service. reporting service, integration service, and SQL Server compacted. Can we create any keyword to remember this one? These 5 services. PARS. Stay here. Okay. We'll plan for next class for easy understanding using first letters of the services. Now let's go for next slide. And how can we download server? SQL Server, and how can we download SSMS? Fine. Let me stop this. I'll show you. So simply click on this link. Or else you can search through Google. Click on this. Automatically it leads to, okay, click on this. Automatically it goes for SQL Server. Okay, and this is developer, this is Express, and you can use developer also. All those download and installation is very easy. So, and as well as you can download from tomorrow onwards. We are going to discuss SQL Server commands. So, what are the different commands we have available? All those things will be discussed from tomorrow class. And before that, you download all these things. Okay, I'll share the link. Okay, let me share the link. Okay. This is the first one. And what is next one? This is SMS. And download this, or else directly you can download from here. Okay. Fine. Okay. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to discuss about the commands. Class not yet completed. You just wait. Okay. Now, this is the main, almost 90% of our course. Microsoft SQL Server will be finished if you learn all these things. Very simple, very interesting, and very easy. Not like Python, and you need to build logics, all those things. Simple things. If you know English, surely you know the SQL commands. So we have, these are the commands: data definition language, data manipulation, transaction control, data control, data query. These are the 5 major. And if you want to filter, aggregate, combine the data, these are the commands or keywords we need to use. Simply 4, 3, 10, 12, 13, some 21, let's say 29, almost 35, 30 to 35. Only 30 to 35 commands you can learn, and you can access the data, retrieve the data, read the data, update the data, delete the data, and of course you can do multiple things. Okay. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to discuss what do you mean by data definition language. And I think I just want to take 30 to 40 minutes only, because there are some exams are there for some people, some students at the end of this month. So per day, 30 to 40 minutes, because one day I'll discuss about this 30 to 40 minutes, 30 to 40, 30 to 40. So by 2 weeks, we'll finish this course, only 2 weeks, and per day, only you need to spend 30 to 40 minutes only. Then we can, if you have time, you can practice. Okay. Now SQL. If you learn SQL, you can go for SQL developer. And this is used for data scientist. Data analyst, compulsory you must learn data or SQL commands. If you are trying for data analyst job, obviously you need to know Excel, SQL, Tableau or Power BI, Python. These are the 4 things you must learn. Not machine learning. If you want to become data scientist, you must learn machine learning also, including deep. Okay. All these things will be discussed from tomorrow onwards. And as I said, don't skip the classes, because every class is the important. Please stop the recording.